Hello Stitches, and welcome to episode 10 of the Ranney Knits Podcast. It is Tuesday afternoon here in the upper left USA. I am Justine, and this is my podcast all about the things I am making with my hands and yarn. Every time I forget to breathe. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited that you are here to talk about mostly knitting with me. Let's face it, it's knitting. One day I will have something else, but today it's knitting, like most days. It has been 2 weeks since I last recorded, and I feel like I should have more to share with you, but I did finish some things you may have noticed. And yeah, it was kind of a busy 2 weeks, but I did manage to get some stuff done. So let's get into it. I finished my modern sailor sweater. You guys. This was a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It is knit in fingering weight. I chose to knit this sweater in Knit Picks Capretta. The color is platinum, I believe. And the stripes are part of a kit from Wonderland Yarns. I think the base might be Queen of Hearts, and the colorway is Hookah Smoke. This sweater was knit top down in the round. You do the body first and then do the collar and the sleeves after completing the body. There's no shaping in the body, which I think is a good thing. In this weight, I'd like a little bit of a less fitted sweater. I knit the size medium, I believe, which was made for a 38-inch bust. So that gave me about 2 inches of positive ease at the bust. Perfect. I've been wearing this so much. It is so cozy and wearable. And 2 weeks ago, I was with my parents, and I basically wore it all weekend. It was sunny, but about 40. It was in the upper 40s, and it was perfect. It's gotten a little bit warmer since then, and I'm warm right now. I didn't mention, but this is, I think this is 70, or is it 80-10-10? I think this is 80-10-10 superwash merino cashmere nylon. MCN. Merino cashmere nylon. So, it is extremely lightweight. This is my first fingering weight sweater, and I love it. It is just so lightweight, but also very warm. I don't know how much I'm going to wear it, because yesterday it got up to, yesterday it was in the 70s, and today is a little cooler, and I believe we're supposed to have slightly cooler weather going forward this week, but it's warming up. It's spring. The trees are in bloom, and my sweaters might not get worn very much anymore. But I am headed back to Alaska in June, and while I won't wear this fishing, no, when I'm gonna get to wear this. But in the evenings it does cool down, although yesterday it wasn't that cool. Now we shall see. Anyways, super stoked on this sweater. I did make some adjustments to it. The sleeves, I did weave in my ends, but I don't always cut. I cut my ends after blocking, and so sometimes I miss some. So this is woven in, it's just not quite cut. But the sleeves, I added about 2 inches, I think, to the sleeves. It said knit them, I think I was supposed to knit them like 16 inches or something. I did 18 inches and then did the I think the cuffs were supposed to be 3 inches, and I'm pretty sure that's about what I did. Anyways, a couple extra inches on the sleeves just because I like to wear my sleeves about there, and I think the pattern was written more for, you know, wrist sleeves. Wrist sleeves. Anyways, I've mentioned this before, but there was supposed to be a row of pearls down each side to create kind of a faux seam. I omitted that because it does have this texture going through. Every main color stripe has a little pearl row texture. Some people have made these. I've looked on their Ravelry project page. Some people chose to omit the texture as well, but I really like it. As I was knitting the sleeves, I thought, oh, I really like the way that this, you can see, I tried gleaning this while I was wearing it, but it is pilling, it's cashmere, that's what happens. But I really like the way this, the stockinette looks on the sleeves without the pearl texture, but I don't know, it makes a cool contrast. It adds a little bit of an interesting detail to the sweater. You can kind of see it, yeah. You can kind of tell that there's a little bit of a texture there, and then it's just cool. It's so comfy, so wearable. Oh, I remember. There's one additional modification that I did. I added probably about 10 rows of the twisted rib on the collar. I think you were supposed to do 4. I did about 14, just to make this collar a little bit longer, a little bit tighter, so that, cause, you know, like my bra straps are right about here, and if I had only done 4 rows, they would have showed, and, you know, just for me, I like a collar that's slightly longer than what was called for. Yes, makes sense. That's, yeah, that's what I want to talk about. You guys can't really see it though, can you? So, those gradient stripes. I mean, that is all, that's not really anything to do with my personal creativity. That's all Wonderland yarns, or what is it, Frabjous fibers. They have 2 names. I think they're Frabjous. I didn't write show notes, can you tell? But that's all them. Their gradient mini set is gorgeous, and I have about 15 grams left of each color, so I can do something else with those. So that is awesome. And I was working on this sweater for about 3 weeks. I think I got a little obsessive with it and wanted to get it done. Like I said last week, my parents were coming to town. I wanted to wear it while we were hanging out, while we were going to visit my brother and his family, so it worked out perfectly. But, I mean, for a first time fingering weight sweater, that's amazing. But I don't know, I don't like knitting on deadlines. I don't know, I feel like this kind of consumed February. Like, this was the only thing I wanted to work on, which is awesome, but also I didn't have anything else. So I'm going a little cast-on crazy. I mean, like, you may not think so, but I have lots of cast-ons planned for this week and next week, so we'll see. Yeah, I don't know where this train of thought is going. I just all over the place. Anyways, sweater, love it. Yes, moving on. I have one more finished object, and it is my February socks for my box of socks, which we'll see how long I stick with this. Ugh. It's March now, but mid-March almost, and anyways, I finished my Yin Yang socks. This is the Yin Yang kitty sock pattern by Gina Garcia, and I modified it slightly to add little ice bear faces well, this one is an ice bear. This one is a reverse ice bear. I don't know if you watch the cartoon We Bare Bears, but Ice Bear is my spirit animal. He's amazing. And so yeah, I was fiddling around with stitch fiddle appropriately, and I wanted to do puppy faces instead of kitty faces, just because I don't know why. Like, I like cats, I like dogs, but for some reason I want to be different. I want a pair of different socks. So I was trying to make a puppy face on stitch fiddle using their little colorwork chart, and I came up with something that looked like this, and I thought, oh my god, that looks like Ice Bear. So I decided to do that instead. This is just duplicate stitch. I did the little eyes. Try to get to focus. There we are. I did the eyes and the little ears in duplicate stitch, and it's so cute. So this is the reverse one. And I wanted the heels to have a little pop. This is a Fish Lips Kiss heel in this one yarn that I keep using. This is Blue Moon Fiber Arts. Yes, Blue Moon Fiber Arts in the colorway Just Peachy. This is their Socks That Rock base. I'm not sure. They have a Socks That Rock light, medium, and heavyweight. I think this might be the heavyweight, but I'm not positive. There they are. They are done. So yeah, those were my 2 February projects, and they are both done. They were both done. We can still say they were done in the beginning of March. This one was done in February, so that's awesome. But yeah, pair of socks, a sweater, not bad for a short month's work. I mean, short month, it's like, what, 2 days, 2 or 3 days less than normal months. But anyways, yeah, so very pleased with these. I did post the chart for the Ice Bear faces on my website, RanneyKnits.com, and yeah. I just realized that I meant to talk about this is why I should have show notes. I realized I forgot to talk about my knit-along. I made the mistake of deciding to film right as it was getting darker and darker here. Not the best decision. Let me try to see if I can fix that. I am currently hosting a knit-along. It is the Make What Your Mama Gave You knit-along, and that started at the beginning of this month, and I'm going to run it, which I keep forgetting to say. I'm running this until mid-May. I'm thinking Mother's Day, U.S. Mother's Day, which is Sunday in May. I think it's the 12th or the 13th maybe. Anyways, so you have plenty of time to join us for the knit-along, and we are knitting or crocheting or making all of the things with materials such as yarn or whatever other materials, fabric, whatever you got, making things with materials that have been given to us. So anything you want to do, you have plenty of time. A couple people have already entered in the, a couple people have already started the conversation going in the Ravelry group, which I really, really appreciate. It is the Ranney Knits Podcast Ravelry group. So go over there and, yeah, tell us what you got. Tell us what you're making. Make What Your Mama Gave Ya. Knit along. Also, hashtag Make What Your Mama Gave Ya on Instagram. Make What Your Mama Gave Ya 2018 on Instagram. Yeah, so get going on that. I would love to see what you're doing. With that, my entry for the Make What Your Llama Gave Ya. Oh, llama. Make What Your Mama Gave Ya knit along is the King's County Socks by Laurel of Steady Hands Co. These socks, yes, they are adorable. They look like they're, I haven't made a whole lot of progress on them, and that's because I haven't worked on them a whole lot, but also they have a fold over cuff that you make with a provisional cast on, knit, and then join those two together so that you get this super squishy fold over cuff, which is amazing. There we are. I've got tons of stitch markers and crazy stuff going on, but you can kind of see the there's a cable in there. The cable pattern looks super complicated, but it's actually very simple, and I didn't believe it when I read that. She mentions that it's complicated looking but very simple to memorize, and I thought, no way, but it actually is, you guys. I already messed up. This was supposed to be held to the back. I held it to the front, and I thought about ripping it out, but I'm not going to because I'm the only one that's going to notice it. So these are my Chaogu 1.5, yes, US 1.5 needles, and I am knitting these with, it's called Auto Ukania, I believe. Show notes, Justine, show notes next time. It is Autogania yarn, wool, silk, and bamboo blend. So it is kind of a little crunchy, but really fun to knit with, and makes a very squishy little sock. So provisional cast on. I haven't done a provisional cast on in years, so that took me a little while. Thankfully, Laurel has included a step-by-step photo tutorial, super helpful. So and it only took me twice. I did it once and had to rip it out because I didn't like the way it looked, but I figured it out. It's not the neatest thing on the inside. I don't know if that's me or if that's just the way it is. So it's kind of hard to see with this yarn, but my knit rows, the ribbing right there, it is right here, doesn't quite match up with the other ribbing. You can kind of see it's like it's off, but that's on the inside. Flip it around and it looks just fine. It looks fine, Justine. So yeah, King's County socks. I believe they're named after, there must be a King's County in, I think she was in New York, but Seattle is also in a King County, so kind of like a East Coast, West Coast. Everybody has a King County. I guess that's pretty common. But yeah, loving these socks. Haven't really, I mean, this was like all one day of working on them, and then I didn't pick them up after that. So, oh well. That's okay. It's fine. It's okay. So, my next project's over here. Whoopsies! Okay, this is why I'm struggling, because currently I have this many yarns going into one project. This next project is sort of the reason behind me not having a whole lot done, because I'm knitting another sweater. It is a fingering weight sweater, and it does have color work, and I had to swatch a lot for it. So I made one swatch. I was doing it all in the round. So usually the way I do my swatches is I knit them flat like this, and if I'm swatching for something in the round, I just I just knit it here and then pull the yarn in the back here and then knit again. So you're knitting all the stitches, rather than if you are knitting something in the round but you swatch it, just knit purl rows, so you have that stockinette swatch, but it's knit purl. My purling and my knitting aren't quite the same, so I want to be sure that the swatch is going to be exactly how I'm knitting my project. There we go, Justine. You got there eventually. Yeah, so this is the way I would usually swatch, or this is the way I have been swatching when I'm working with something in the round. But this is okay. This is a swatch that didn't work out, and I decided not to do the project in this yarn. This is actually also the yarn that I'm using for this new project, so it's getting used. This is all stash yarn. Still using stash yarn. I haven't, well, okay, so I did buy yarn in January, but that was for like a different, not knitting, well, I mean, it was a knitting project, but it wasn't for me knitting, it was for commission knitting, so I don't count that. But other than that, I haven't bought yarn yet this year, really. So yeah, stash yarn, year of the stash, is still going strong, in case you were wondering. Anyways, yeah, so this is my swatch, but for this project I tried swatching this way and it wasn't really working out because the color work was kind of trying to hold stitches back. My tension was just all messed up, and if you're gonna knit a swatch, you might as well do it wrong. What I am getting at is I was swatching in the round, so I was making kind of larger swatches, which in retrospect could have been turned into baby hats, and then at least they would have been useful, but I kind of needed the yarn. So I was swatching, frogging that swatch, swatching again, frogging that swatch. It was a whole thing. Can you tell that this has been like taking up my time for the last week? Anyways, and I was struggling. Okay, so the pattern is Alyeska by Caitlin Hunter, who is Boylan Knitworks. And Christy Glass just posted a video today. Like, as I was getting ready to film this, I was looking through my subscriptions to put something on, and she just put up a video about this sweater today, and she had the same issue with getting gauge. So with this sweater, this is fingering weight, and I used a US size 4 needle, and that was like something like 22 stitches and 30 some rows, and right on gauge, perfect, use the 4. This sweater, the swatch, the gauge was like 26 stitches and more than 30, and with a size 4 as well, so wasn't gonna happen on a size 4, didn't happen on a size 5. I am working with a size 6 right now, and it's not quite on gauge, but it is close enough because that's as far as I want to go with it. But it kind of helped that Christy Glass had the same issue. She ended up using a 5, even though that's not quite on gauge for her. But what she said, and what I agree with, is the sweater is supposed to fit with about 4 inches of positive ease, and so I am knitting the small, which is supposed to have about 30, it's about 30, yeah, 39, I think. So that should give me enough wiggle room. It might be a little bit tighter. I might not have 4 inches of positive ease, but I should be able to get about 2 or 3, hopefully. We'll see. Anyways, this is the Alyeska sweater by Caitlin Hunter, and I'm very excited. I've been wanting to knit a Caitlin Hunter, so everybody knit the Sunset Highway, everybody knit the Swatcho, most recently everybody knit the Zweig sweater, and I do love the Zweig, but I don't know, the more I see it, the more I want to knit it, but for some reason it just wasn't quite jibing with me, but I might knit it later. Her pattern sale is done now, I think. I think this is her most recent sweater pattern that she's come out with. That may not be true. but we're going to say that. So there haven't been a whole lot of people that have knit it yet, but Christy Glass is a lot further than I am. I am currently just starting on the color work. And so Alyeska is a ski resort that is, like 40 miles outside of Anchorage in Alaska. And my mom always wanted to take us when we were younger, and I think she and my sister went one time. It was a big thing, like, so we live on an island, so like going off island was always a big deal, and our skiing on the island where I grew up was kind of so-so, but like, you know, like you go to Anchorage and you go to Alyeska and stay at the Princess Resort Hotel, and like that was a big thing for winter break to do, and I never wanted to do it because I was more interested in staying at home and reading or something. But so I've never been there in the winter. I did go, and I lived in Anchorage too for a year and never went because I was still like a freshman in college, and well, I didn't have any money, so I couldn't really like, anyways, I did go there a couple of years ago in the summertime, and so it's like super beautiful and green, and there's lots of hiking trails, and so I thought it would be kind of cool if I did a like green summer inspired Alyeska sweater. So I just happened to have a lot of green in my stash that I didn't really know what to do with, so that's where that came from. So the instructions say you pick 4 gradients and then 1 pop. And due to my limitations of my yarn, my gradient is a little bit backward. Not really. It's just not backwards, it's just kind of out of order. It's going to be because of the yardage limitations that I have. So because this is the year of the stash, I could have ordered more yarn, but I thought I have what I need, and I'm just gonna have to reverse 2 colors. That's it. So because of that, like, we're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna do it this way. So I've got, this is all knit picks except for my little pop. So the 4 my 4 gradients are knit picks. This is Stroll in the pearlescent color, pearlescent tonal. Then I've got this one, which is going to be my next color, which is, I think this is Cucumber, also Stroll fingering. And this one is Mountain Pass, which is appropriate, Alyeska. I love it. And this one I switched. So if I wanted this to be a true gradient, I would probably put it in this order. However, I don't have the yardage requirements for this darker one, but I do have 2 skeins of this Mountain Pass. This is also tonal, not tonal, this is also Knit Picks Stroll, but this is their solid, and I don't know what this is, something heather, green heather, something, forest heather maybe. These are all very appropriately named. Anyways, yeah, I have more of this one, so I'm just switching this up, but I'm just modifying it because of the yardage requirements, and I don't know if you even care. I don't know if it even matters. The darkest one is supposed to be color 4, which would be this one. My color 4 is this one for the bottom, but as for up here, I'm going darkest one up here, so it's gonna be a little different. I don't know if you'll even be able to notice. I haven't quite decided what I'm gonna do for the bottom, so it goes down into like very, very Boylan Knitworks, Knitworks? Is that it? Very, very Caitlin Huntery style, like blocks of color, like kind of like stripy blocks. Does that make any sense? So it does that. We'll go down into this cucumber color next, and then do the blocky bits, and then there's a row of crosses, which I haven't decided. That's the one that's going to be tricky with the colors. I would have to mix it up even more. I might omit the crosses entirely, but we shall see. So I was actually a little bit further on the color work here this morning, but I had decided, so this is my little pop of color here, and I decided I wasn't going to do that because if I omitted it, then I would only have to do 2 color work, stranded color work, which is a lot easier than 3 color stranded color work. So I had the white in here in this little, like, these are kind of like loopy sections, and I was just doing green and white, but with just the 2 colors, without the extra little bit of pop, it was fine, but it wasn't really special. Like, it didn't look really Caitlin Huntery, in my opinion. Like, it just kind of looked flat, and I think maybe eventually with all the other stuff going on, it probably would have just been fine. I would have been able to live with it, but when it's just this little amount, it just looked flat and kind of boring. Not boring, but like not special. So I frogged that. I frogged about 7 rows of color work, which was a little heartbreaking. But I thought, oh, like, it was so easy the first time, like, I'll just pick it up, it'll be fine. So I decided I had this yellow, which is also a Christmas present from my parents, this just past Christmas. This is Cascade Yarns. It is a fingering weight, and it is a merino silk blend. I don't know the exact amounts, but I want to say 85-15. To me, this seems like a lighter fingering weight, and it's coming across a lot lighter in color, so that's pretty accurate, actually. So in the pattern, it says to use a mohair fingering weight for the little pop of color. So I just so happen to have this mohair. Well, I'm pretty sure it's mohair. Like, I don't know what else it would be. It doesn't have the label. My best guess is it's that Rowan Kid Silk, maybe. I think it's Rowan. I'm not sure. It was actually my sister's stash that I stole when I went back home. She doesn't live there anymore. It's not really her stash. It's just kind of like the leftover stuff that we had when we were knitting in high school and college. So I am going to hold these 2 together, and they're gonna be friends. So my original idea was to hold these 2 together for a hat, because I thought that would be cool. And I might have enough of this. This was a full ball. It was like not 50 grams. It was like 25 grams, I think. So I might have enough for a hat later on. But so that's what that looks like. And I really like it. I like how it's kind of just that subtle gold. I wasn't sure how I would like the green and yellow, but since it's more gold than yellowy, because of that mohair, I really enjoy it. And both universities that I went to, their school colors were green and gold, so that's something. I don't know. I never particularly loved green and gold together, but I have like college stuff from both of them. They're both green and gold, so there is that. So I mentioned that I did a provisional cast on and did a fold over cuff for my Kings County socks, and I liked that so much that I did the same thing with this sweater. It is not written in the pattern. In the pattern you do 2 inches of a 2x2 rib to start and then knit from there. So I provisionally cast on and knit 2 inches, a little bit more than 2 inches. This is slightly more than an inch now after I folded it over. And then fold it over and knit together and knit down. That's just because I liked the way that my socks turned out so well, and I was kind of proud of myself for relearning a skill. And I like the fold over cuff. I've seen it a lot recently. Amy of the Stranded Podcast and Stranded Dye Works has done a couple sweaters with this fold over cuff, and she really likes it, and so I wanted to try it. I thought about doing the same thing with this one, but honestly I got worn out doing the 1x1 twisted rib, and so I gave up. Originally I was going to do that and then fold it over. I have done that on my blue snowdrop sweater. I didn't do a provisional cast on because that was a bottom up sweater, but I did knit extra and then fold over the cuff, and I really like the way that turned out. That is written in that pattern. But yeah, I just thought that would be kind of a nice little thing. Plus I thought it wasn't really my style, the way the collar kind of like came up. This one does come up pretty close to my neck, you know, it hugs it pretty close, but it's a little bit looser, I think. I don't know. It's just like that 2-inch collar. It looked like it kind of like sat flat in a little bit of a weird way that wouldn't quite work for my style, but I love this. So I did frog a little bit of this, and I took it off the needles and I tried it on, and it makes a very nice little collar here. So if that's as far as this gets, that's okay. Yeah, so this one's going to take a while, and I think especially since I've started doing the 3-color stranded color work part, I've realized like what an effort this is going to be. It's going to be a while. I might not wear this this spring. It might not be done before the weather just gets too warm to wear it. Like I said, it's slightly, maybe it's just in here. It's usually not that warm in here though if it's cold outside. So this one is getting to be a little bit too much to wear at this point in the year. Who knows? We may get another cold snap. Here's hoping for cold snap. And now everyone hates me because I think most people are kind of ready to be done with winter, and that's okay. I get it. I understand. So we'll see. What I'm trying to say is I'm just going to take my time with this. It's not going to be like my Modern Sailor where I just got a little obsessed, went a little crazy, and put arbitrary deadlines on myself. And I think all I want to do is just kind of like relaxed, work on this when I want to, switch to my socks, switch to a hat, I don't know, just like have some more projects on the needles and just kind of work on more than one project at one time. That's just the way I'm feeling. And like, you know, people say like, oh, I can never be a monogamous knitter, oh, I could never have more than 2 projects on the needles, and I am guilty of saying that. I believe in my first or second episode I said like, I can't have more than 2 projects on the needles, otherwise I go crazy. And I feel like it's just like, there's just kind of an ebb and flow. Sometimes I want lots of projects and I want to be working on tons of different stuff, and sometimes I just want one, and like, it's okay. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to not be totally consistent all the time. I know. I am really excited to work on this now. I wanna see the colors. Whatchamacallit. I wanted to see the colors developing. I want to see what the color work looks like together, and I am excited to be excited about it, because after all the swatching and after ripping this back when I wasn't excited about it, right now, like, looking at it, I'm stoked. So Thank you so much for tuning in and spending part of your day with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you for leaving lovely comments and liking my videos. I already said I really appreciate it, but I really do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't yet, go join my Ravelry group. Show notes will be linked below in my website, ranneyknits.com. And that's it. That is the end. Alright, stitches. Thanks again for watching. Be well, happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy making. I will see you again soon. Bye!